The journey begins with a cryptic warning, cautioning that involvement leads down a thorny path. The protagonist, despite the ominous message, makes a conscious choice to participate in the unfolding story, a decision that will irrevocably alter their reality and thrust them into a world beyond their comprehension. An unknown entity observes the protagonist's choice, expressing surprise that such a human still exists. This mysterious figure promises to seek out the protagonist, setting the stage for an inevitable and fateful encounter that will pull back the curtain on a hidden reality existing alongside our own. Life transitions to the mundane routine of high school. A teacher, Katayama Kumi, collects career surveys, reminding students to use their real names, a stark contrast to the world of online aliases. This scene grounds the protagonist in their normal life just before it's turned upside down. The protagonist is suddenly transported to a surreal space between dream and reality, a place of mind and matter. Here, a long-nosed man explains that being a guest in this velvet room is a direct result of the choices they are making, hinting at a power they are yet to understand. Back in the real world, the teacher warns the class about a recent string of phantom incidents where victims become absent-minded and lose their will. This public phenomenon is the first clue that the strange events the protagonist is experiencing are having a tangible impact on society. A brief but significant encounter occurs at a crowded station. An observant young woman helps the protagonist, remarking on the importance of making one's own choices. She notes that people possess the power to move at their own will, a theme that resonates with the protagonist's recent experiences. The protagonist witnesses a disturbing event, a person attempting to jump from a building, seemingly devoid of their own will. This starkly illustrates the consequences of the phantom incidents, where individuals lose all hope and desire, becoming shells of their former selves. The mysterious figure from before, a talking owl-like creature, reveals himself. He introduces himself as Ruffle and explains that they are in the metaverse, the world born from the collective unconscious of humanity. This world is collapsing because people's desires are being stolen by an unknown force. Ruffle elaborates on the nature of the crisis. He explains that desires, the very driving force of life, are being systematically taken away. People are giving up their will and abandoning their thoughts, leading to the apathetic, zombie-like state witnessed in the real world. The first enemies, known as shadows, appear. Ruffle explains that these are hostile beings born from distorted desires, attacking people indiscriminately. They are a primary cause of the desire depletion affecting the real world, representing a direct threat to the protagonist and Ruffle. Cornered by a powerful shadow, the protagonist is forced to confront their own will. Ruffle's voice echoes, urging them to remember what has been taken and to make a choice. This moment of crisis serves as the catalyst for a great power to awaken from within the protagonist. In a flash of light, the protagonist awakens their persona, a rebellious spirit named Genosik. This powerful entity, a manifestation of the protagonist's own will, declares itself the one who controls desire. The protagonist is no longer a passive victim, but an active combatant against the forces of despair. After defeating the shadow with their new power, Ruffle declares that the protagonist may be the hope of this world. They are no longer on the side of the taken, but have the power to take back what was lost. However, they must hurry, as Mementos is still fraught with danger. Back in reality, Ruffle explains the strange change of clothes that occurs in the other world. This outfit, called a kaitogi, is the armor of the heart, a manifestation of their rebellious spirit that protects them from enemies. It's a sign of their power and resolve. In the Velvet Room, the long-nosed man, Igor, speaks of the protagonist's potential. He explains that their overflowing desire for life can awaken the forgotten desires in others. He warns of destruction, but also offers a path to avert it by nurturing the desires of others in the real world. Ruffle expresses his high hopes for the protagonist, pondering whether they will be a guide to salvation or destruction in a world losing its desire. This establishes the weight of the protagonist's actions and the ambiguous nature of their new role as a persona user and future phantom thief. On the way to school, a friendly woman recognizes the protagonist's Kokatsu Gakuen uniform. Her cheerful, mundane conversation about her darling and making lunch provides a moment of normalcy, highlighting the double life the protagonist is now forced to lead between school and the metaverse. On the train, a girl drops her phone charm. The protagonist retrieves it for her, and she's extremely grateful. She recognizes their uniform and introduces herself as a classmate, Motoha Arai, establishing the first of several key relationships that will shape their journey. In class, the teacher uses the term clam to describe things that don't fit, comparing it to the phantom phenomenon. This parallel suggests that those affected by the phantom incidents are people who have lost their place or purpose, becoming shells that no longer fit in society. During lunch, Motoha asks the protagonist about their mysterious disappearance from the train the previous day. Their conversation is interrupted by her friend, Tomoko Noge. This interaction deepens the connection between the three students and plants seeds of curiosity about the protagonist's secrets. On the school rooftop, Raphael reappears to explain the other world in greater detail. He names the space mementos, the collective unconscious of humanity. He describes how the berserk shadows of certain individuals in the real world are the cause of the widespread theft of desire. Raphael makes his proposition clear. He wants to buy the protagonist's ability. He asks them to join him in solving the mystery of the other world, using the power of their awakened persona to become a thief and steal back the distorted desires of corrupt individuals. Motoha notices a strange icon on the protagonist's phone, the same one that appeared on her own. This Isekai Navi app is the key to entering the Mentos. Its mysterious appearance on both their phones suggests a shared destiny and a connection to the other world. After another encounter with a man causing trouble, Raphael explains the concept of a palace, a manifestation of a single person's distorted desires within mementos. He reveals that to change a person's heart, they must steal the treasure that lies at the core of their palace. The protagonist accepts the deal and officially becomes a phantom thief. Raphael explains the need for codenames to protect their identities. The protagonist is dubbed Wonder, and Raphael is Cattle. Their first mission is to investigate the palace of the bumping man, Kiochi Takeyuki. Igor introduces a new concept in the Velvet Room, Kaidol. These are cognitive beings born from the protagonist's connections with others, who can support them in battle. This mechanic represents the power of bonds and how relationships strengthen their abilities in the metaverse. Cattle leads Wonder to their first target's palace, which is manifested as a massive baseball stadium. This reflects the distorted desires of Kiochi, a disgraced former baseball player. They find the entrance is blocked, forcing them to find another way to infiltrate the fortress. To create a tool for infiltration, the team needs a workbench. A cheerful neighborhood woman advises them to visit a recycle shop in Yunganjaya. This simple errand in the real world is a necessary step to advance their phantom thieving activities in the other world. Meanwhile, Motoha and her friend Tomoko discuss Tomoko's passion for baseball. Tomoko reveals she is working hard to fulfill the dream that Motoha had to give up. This conversation highlights the deep bond between the two friends and the personal stakes involved in their lives. With the newly acquired workbench, Cattle teaches Wonder how to craft infiltration tools. This hands-on activity solidifies their hideout and partnership, providing them with the practical means to begin their heists and take on the distorted rulers of palaces in mementos. A crisis erupts at Shibuya Station. The bumping man, Kiochi, shoves Tomoko onto the train tracks, causing her serious injury. Motoha, witnessing this, is filled with rage and a desire for justice, setting the stage for her own awakening and direct involvement in the Phantom Thieves mission. On the school rooftop, Motoha confronts Wonder, having seen them with the talking bag Cattle. Cattle reveals their plan to target Kiochi. Motoha, hearing her own desire for justice reflected, finds herself drawn into their world. her fate now intertwined with the Phantom Thieves. Driven by a need for answers, Motoha confronts Kiochi in the real world. He callously admits his actions and reveals he was actually targeting Motoha, not Tomoko. This cool revelation pushes Motoha past her breaking point, strengthening her resolve to make him pay for his crimes. As Kiochi's shadow attacks in the metaverse, Motoha is forced to confront her past and her admiration for the man he used to be. Realizing she can no longer cling to a lie, she rejects his distorted self and embraces her own rebellious will, refusing to let him steal anyone else's dreams. In a surge of power, Motoha awakens her persona, Elwida, a pirate queen symbolizing rebellion and taking back what was stolen. Now a persona user, she joins the fight alongside Wonder and Cattle, ready to dish out her own justice and avenge her friend Tomoko. Motoha, now a member of the team, finds herself in Kiochi's palace. Cattle explains that she was able to enter because the Isekai Navi app appeared on her phone, a sign of her strong desire. They now have to navigate the palace and get the confused new member to safety. Exploring the palace, the team uncovers Kiochi's past through cognitive videos. They learn that his downfall began after a young Motoha hit a home run off him during a baseball clinic, a blow from which his pride never recovered, leading to his resentment and distorted desires. The team confronts Kiochi's shadow, a twisted, monstrous version of his former self. He captures Motoha, blaming her for ruining his life. He embodies a pathetic man who justifies his failures by blaming a child, revealing the selfish core of his distorted heart. Motoha stands up to Kiochi's shadow, declaring she will no longer be a tragic heroine defined by his failure. She fights for her best friend Tomoko, whose dream he stole. Her resolve solidifies as she embraces her new power to fight back against those who would steal from others. With a new member on board, the Phantom Thieves discuss code names. Motoha chooses the name Closer, a baseball term for a pitcher who closes out the game. This name reflects her desire to be the one to put a stop to villains like Kiochi and protect others. The group officially establishes themselves as the Phantom Thieves, with Wonder as the leader, Closer as a key fighter, and Cattle as their guide. They solidified their mission: to steal the distorted desires of corrupt adults and bring them to justice, changing society from the shadows. In a history class, the teacher discusses the Slovakian folk hero Julij Janosic, an aristocrat who stole from the rich to give to the poor. This lesson directly mirrors the protagonist's own persona, Janosic, and validates the Phantom Thieves' mission as a form of righteous rebellion. The Velvet Room attendant warns that a deep bond with others greatly impacts a persona user's power. This foreshadows the importance of the protagonist relationships, suggesting that the path they choose will either lead to salvation or the worst possible outcome, all depending on their connections. To improve their combat readiness, the team decides to train in mementos. Cattle explains that there are specific areas within the collective unconscious that are suitable for gaining experience. This allows them to hone their skills and strengthen their teamwork before facing palace rulers. While exploring Kiochi's palace, the team encounters two other persona users, a loud, brash boy in a skull mask and a talking, cat-like creature. These two, Skull and Mona, are also Phantom Thieves who have gotten lost and separated from their own group. Recognizing their shared goals and circumstances, the two groups of Phantom Thieves form a temporary alliance. They agree to work together to find the treasure within the palace, which will allow them all to escape. This deal marks the first collaboration between different Phantom Thief cells. In a safe room, Cattle reveals his true purpose. He has lost his memories and believes that obtaining the 7 treasures from the palaces will restore them. The team readily agrees to help him, solidifying their bond, not just as allies, but as friends working toward a common goal. The team watches a cognitive video of Kiochi's further decline after his baseball career ended. They see him descend into a pathetic nightlife, betrayed by a woman he was with. This event cemented his distorted view that all women were to blame for his misfortune. Closer, seeing the full extent of Kiochi's pathetic excuses is filled with righteous anger. She realizes how much she blamed herself for his downfall, while he was simply a coward who couldn't face his own failures. This fuels her determination to make him pay for his sins. Having secured a route to the treasure, the team must now send a calling card. Cattle explains that this notice, delivered to the target in the real world, makes them aware their treasure is being targeted. This act of defiance will cause the treasure to materialize in the palace. The team decides to send the calling card. To ensure Kiochi sees it without revealing their identities, they have Cattle fly over Shibuya station and drop hundreds of notices from the sky. This flashy, dramatic move marks their official debut as the Phantom Thieves to the public. In the real world, news spreads of the Phantom Thieves calling card. Kiochi, confronted with his name and crimes on the notice, panics. His cognitive recognition of the threat causes his treasure to fully materialize within his palace, setting the stage for the final heist. The team enters the palace for the final confrontation. Kiochi's treasure is revealed to be a shining golden baseball, the very symbol of his pride and the source of his distortion. He stands guard, ready to fight to the death, to protect the core of his warped desires. During the climactic battle, Kiochi's shadow transforms into a monstrous, grotesque form, revealing his true, ugly nature. He declares that baseball is the best sport, but that he will crush the thieves with his newfound power, showing he has learned nothing and is lost to his ego. With a final decisive blow, Closer steals the treasure. Kiochi's shadow is defeated and the golden baseball is secured. The palace begins to collapse around them, forcing a hasty retreat. They have succeeded in their first mission, but the real test is yet to come. Back in reality, the treasure has returned to its original form, a simple, worn-out baseball. This ball, once a symbol of Kiochi's pride, was also the trigger for his distorted resentment. Its mundane appearance shows how twisted his cognition had become. The team witnesses the aftermath of their heist on the news. Kiochi, his distorted desire removed, has turned himself into the police, confessing to all his crimes. The Phantom Thieves have successfully changed his heart, proving their methods work and validating their cause. While celebrating at a ramen shop, the team discusses their future. Having succeeded once, they must decide whether to continue their lives as Phantom Thieves. The choice weighs heavily on them, as each heist carries immense risk, but also the potential to save those who are suffering. At the ramen shop, they encounter a disruptive gourmet talent, Hiromu Miyazawa, who is using his influence to manipulate the restaurant's owner. This encounter introduces the team to their next potential target, a man whose distorted desire for control is harming innocent people. The team meets Kano-shun, a classmate who works at the ramen shop. He has a strong sense of justice and is disgusted by Miyazawa's actions. His confrontation with the corrupt critic establishes him as a key figure in the next chapter of their phantom thieving adventures. The news reports on Kiochi's confession but dismisses the Phantom Thieves' involvement as a coincidence. Ruffle notes that if their name were to spread, they could save more people, but it would also attract unwanted attention. The team must weigh the benefits of fame against the risks. With their next target unofficially decided, Motoha suggests they proactively help Ruffle search for palaces rather than waiting for them to appear. The team agrees, deciding to become more organized and efficient in their fight against the distorted desires plaguing the city. Following a lead from a friendly acquaintance, the team visits a shady back alley doctor, Takemi, to procure medicine for their metaverse explorations. This establishes a valuable new resource, providing them with healing items that will be crucial for surviving tougher battles ahead. The team ventures deeper into mementos to search for new palaces. Cattle explains that the vast subconscious is a multi-layered structure with new, more dangerous areas lying ahead. To find their next target, they must brave the unknown depths of humanity's collective heart. The team meets at the Zoshigaya Toraikan, the main store of the ramen shop, where they find Kano Shun. He reveals that Ashoken is a branch of Toraikan and that the owner, his mentor Yamagashi, is being strong-armed by the corrupt critic Miyazawa. Ruffle senses the remnants of a palace in the area, confirming their suspicions. The shop manager, Masayoshi, explains Miyazawa's scheme. He uses his media influence to ruin a restaurant's reputation, then swoops in to take it over, replacing authentic quality with cheap imitations for profit. A heated confrontation unfolds at Toraikan. Miyazawa pressures the ailing owner, Yamagoshi, to sign over the rights to his restaurant. When Kano Shun tries to intervene, Miyazawa frames him as a violent delinquent, using his media team to twist the narrative and blackmail them into submission. To create a public spectacle, Miyazawa challenges Shun to an Aji fight, a cooking battle to be streamed on his personal channel. He knows the fight is rigged, intending to humiliate Shun and solidify his control over the restaurant, all while boosting his own fame. With the Aji fight looming, the team realizes it's a trap. They find Miyazawa's palace, which is represented as a movie studio. A poster reveals his intent to publicly punish the bad boy Shun, confirming the competition is a show with a predetermined outcome. On the school rooftop, Shun reveals his past to the protagonist. He was practically raised by Yamagoshi at the ramen shop, which became his second home. His fierce loyalty and pride as a cook are the reasons he cannot back down from Miyazawa's challenge, even knowing it's a trap. The team watches in horror as Miyazawa's media manipulation turns the public against Shun, branding him an official phantom. When news arrives that Yamagashi has collapsed from stress, Shun is crushed by guilt, believing his defiance has only brought suffering to those he cares about. With time running out before the rigged Aji fight, the team makes a risky move. They use the Isekai Navi while on a stalled train, a forbidden technique that drops them into a random, dangerous part of mementos. They must fight their way out to reach Shinjuku in time. The team arrives at the Aji fight just in time. Miyazawa has sabotaged the event by removing the essential katsuobushi scraper needed for the authentic soup. The protagonist rushes to retrieve a spare from Yamagoshi, a cherished memento from his late wife, allowing Shun to cook. Despite making a perfect, authentic ramen, Miyazawa declares Shun the loser on his live stream, twisting the narrative to his favor. He threatens to expose fabricated evidence of Shun's violence, blackmailing everyone into silence and trapping them in his web of lies. Pushed to his absolute limit by Miyazawa's cruelty and the perceived ruin he has caused, Shun's rebellious spirit ignites. He refuses to let Miyazawa kill the pride and heart of the people he loves, rejecting the despair and awakening his own powerful persona, Mandrake. Now a full-fledged member of the Phantom Thieves, Shun needs a codename. He initially suggests Shoyu, soy sauce, but the team refines it to soy. He eagerly accepts his new role, ready to fight back against the villain who threatened to destroy his world. Motoha decides to focus on improving her physical strength to be a better asset to the team. She invites the protagonist to train with her at the batting cages in Yonginjaya, a place filled with memories of her and Tomoko, showing her commitment to her new path. The protagonist helps a young mother named Shoko with a minor injury, catching the attention of her daughter, Minami, who is also a Kokatsu student. Minami's family runs the local general store, and this chance encounter opens the door to a new and complex relationship. Minami confides in the protagonist about her internal conflict. She dreams of becoming a nurse like her late mother, but feels obligated to give up that dream to help her aging father run the family store. This struggle between her personal desire and her sense of duty weighs heavily on her. With the protagonist acting as a mediator, Minami and her father finally have an honest conversation. He encourages her to pursue her own dream, revealing that it was her mother's wish as well. This heartfelt moment resolves their conflict and frees Minami to follow her own path. While exploring Miyazawa's movie studio palace, the team gets separated and ambushed. The sudden appearance of a new powerful shadow, Ultraman, poses a significant threat. This formidable foe guards the deeper sections of the palace, indicating the rising difficulty of their mission. The team continues their infiltration, facing off against Miyazawa's cognitive forces. The battles are intense, but their teamwork and growing power allow them to push forward. They successfully secure a route deeper into the palace, moving one step closer to the location of the treasure. They discover that Miyazawa perceives himself as the star of his own movie, with the palace reflecting his desire for fame and control. The team realizes that his identity is built on a fake persona, and to steal his treasure, they must expose the fraudulent core of his being. Inside the palace's core, a new shadow named Parfait appears, embodying a playful yet malevolent aspect of Miyazawa's distortion. This guardian represents the trivial, game-like way Miyazawa views his manipulation of others, seeing their suffering as mere entertainment for his audience. Having finally secured the route to the treasure, the team prepares to send the calling card to Miyazawa. They plan to sneak into the Ashokan ramen shop the night before his live broadcast and plaster the notice where he is guaranteed to see it, setting the stage for their heist. With the plan set, the team decides they need a symbol to represent the Phantom Thieves. The protagonist, showing a surprising talent for art, is tasked with designing their official logo. This creative endeavor will give their rebellion a unified and iconic identity. The team successfully plants the calling card, and Miyazawa, seeing it during his live broadcast, panics. His cognitive world shifts as the threat becomes real, causing his treasure, a golden film reel symbolizing his control over narratives, to fully materialize within his palace. The Phantom Thieves face Miyazawa's shadow in a final climactic battle. He transforms into a monstrous film director, attempting to edit them out of his perfect story. The team fights back, determined to expose his lies and reclaim the pride he has stolen from so many.